Well, maybe Friday morning. Or you've got a lawyer. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to our monthly meeting on the commission on the pathway to ending gun violence. We'll take roll call
Counselor Miguel Sanchez,
present.
Corey Jones, co-chair,
Present.
Diana Garlington, co-chair,
Present.
Ethereal Monacaran, Alan Williams, not present, Detective David Perez, not present, Michael Stevens, not present, Robert Bailey, James Montero, Lisa Pina Warren, not present at the moment, Juan Carter's not present, Michael Hogan, not present, and PJ Fox.
Present.
And we have 7 present, 6 absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today. I know we have very busy schedules, but we gotta continue with the very important work. I usually kind of like to, just give a few minutes to folks from our police department to give us updates on kind of what's going on in the city, but since we don't have anyone, we'll skip over that part today. Just going off of my feelings, I guess, and my awareness of what's been going on in the community. It's been, I don't want to say it's been quiet, but it's definitely been a little slower in terms of activities. And so last time we met, we were coming off a pretty hot weekends there at the end of the summer. So knock on wood, we keep heading in a positive direction. So going back to the agenda, item number 2 is the mentorship program that we talked about as being a possibility, Kennedy Plaza. We're all aware of some of the challenges that sometimes arise at Kennedy Plaza. So we had talked about possibly either facilitating or at least discussing on what a mentorship program would look like. Before I hand it off to Corey to kind of touch base on that, does anyone have any comments they would like to make regarding this item? The discussion after Corey's. Do you have a presentation or just
No, just some remarks. So as you all see, you have the mentorship application draft that I put together. If everyone could take a look at it and see if there's anything that could be missing. And I think kind of the next steps is we talked about doing a social media. And that could be a good avenue for publicizing this, or even just using the council social media and publicizing it. And then I think also like finding a community-based organization to kind of lead it. I'm assuming we're not gonna need a ton of money, but even if we could have, CBO that has like one coordinator or something, and we can try to work together to secure some dollars to make that happen, thinking Mike Hogan and PSGAO could maybe come up with $20,000-$40,000, right? To try to do something like this. And then lastly, I think really just thinking about how we can incorporate CVI in this. And make it connected to kind of our larger vision. I know, me and James were working on a CVI program and kind of funds got dried up at DLT while they're still committed to this work. I think we'll have to start with PSGAO and kind of scale up. So yeah, any thoughts on what could be added? Any thoughts on how we can connect this work to greater CVI work and kind of use it as a way to kind of build up?
Yeah, I think before we continue, Corey, I think we need to establish what our role, if any, is
I'd say advisory
in this type of
and
program.
recruitment, right? I don't think, we aren't a CBO, we aren't, right? But if we can support a CBO, if we could try to facilitate those funds and advertise and support, I mean,
And just for everyone's awareness, CBO is a community-based organization, right?
Correct, thank you.
My understanding the Nonviolence Institute has similar programs.
Yeah,
Is there ways for us to maybe leverage funding that they already have or infrastructure that they have to maybe even pilot it rather than
right.
having to sort of create our own program, or even just elevating the program that they have and also even like an application of experience, what they request from their volunteers as well. But also we'll just love to know how those two sort of match and maybe if they're separate.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Good points, yeah, we definitely don't wanna be replicating stuff that's already out there. Lisa, the executive director of Navajo Institute, did inform me that she wasn't gonna be able to make it, so.
Okay.
I'm not sure if, you have more knowledge of their current.
I know they do have mentors. I know James has mentors. I know PJ, you know, mentorship RI, right? So I think there's a lot of different CBOs that could step up to the plate. I think we have to, you know, ask ourselves, right, what's capacity? You know, kind of where is the strengths and weaknesses, right? And try to like pick lanes where that fit in people's strengths. And you know, create a collaborative approach, right? So I think there's a many CBOs that can do the work, but the question is who is ready at this moment and has the capacity at this time.
There was a grant that the city put out with a Mentor Rhode Island received multiple organizations where funded included, nonviolent included, but it's all based on mentoring and maybe something can be support that work and expand it opposed to just starting from scratch and creating something.
Great idea.
And then there's a particular zone that be added into the scope of work that is already happening within the agency.
Thank you, James.
I mean, I would definitely engage with Mentor Rhode Island. Just to get. I mean, they have the mentoring infrastructure. And they have a really large recruiting. Apparatus that they could probably utilize. Yeah, so.
I do think that's a good idea, right? Maybe it's all of us, right? But we break it down by zones because we know Kennedy Plaza might be a hot area, but there's a lot of other areas. And ways that we can kind of integrate mentorship into this population.
And I think also not to sort of bring it back, so I think it would be helpful to map the program to the organization are commencing in Providence. And then I think from our past meetings, it seems like Kennedy Plaza is like that.
Yeah.
That was not included in some of those funded programs, and maybe and it seems like it's an area that does really need a mentoring programs and just increase sort of infrastructure and support, and maybe if this could wanted to have some Kennedy Plaza, but not sure.
I agree. That's why I said maybe that can be added to what's already happening, the majority have the infrastructure. Although the base is doing mentoring, I would add to that by including Kennedy Plaza, maybe put some more resources and that's included in everybody's work.
Yes, I think it would probably make sense to have a conversation with Mentor and maybe possibly even bringing them in to
Yeah.
discuss their scope of work to the full committee. Cause yeah, I think like something else that we need to be very clear on is regarding the challenges at Kennedy Plaza, what we're speaking about is like specific to like the youth there.
Yeah.
And like the challenges like specific to the youth, there's a lot of other hardships, challenges at Kennedy Plaza that I don't think are gonna be addressed and shouldn't be misrepresented as gonna be addressed by this type of program. Just making it as honest and clear to the public from the start, I think is important. We'll probably keep working on this item.
And this, sorry, and this is, just remind me, this is to have mentoring in KP.
during the bus.
during the, so when we say mentoring, are we saying in like folks that are just down there as positive adults? That are
No, the
engaging with
kids,
youth?
the kids that are like going into the bus and they're like,
Yeah, but
Into stuff.
BJ's asking like the program is like, the idea is to have like adults like physically there.
yeah,
Like interacting,
Yeah.
with the.
Okay.
youth, right, at like the bus dismissal time was the thought process at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe we speak to the professionals that have, experience doing this, and maybe it's something that's not even a possibility. I don't know exactly what the details would look like. Cause yeah, we don't wanna just create a scenario where it's,
creates more chaos,
yeah, or more of like a babysitting,
right?
type of role or something of that nature. Yeah, stuff like.
I also think clarifying that is also helpful for like those who may be interested to become mentors, like what are they comfortable and not comfortable
Right.
doing?
Yeah.
You know, and also,
And some training.
yeah, absolutely that too.
In which I would absolutely refer to the Institute in Mentor Rhode Island on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, point 3 on our agenda kind of gets at what Miguel was saying earlier, is having mentorship RI, NBI, reentry, give presentations about the money they got and the, target population that they plan to serve. Maybe we can put them at the top of our list for our future presentations, this in keeping in mind that, we're using that to inform this program, yeah.
Makes sense.
And I think just to add on to what you were saying, I know Miguel had told me that the city is working on that map that I had started and making it more comprehensive. Do you
Yeah.
know what the timeline would be like?
If I can add in here, hi everyone, Miguel again, we're working on getting the updated data. So some of the way it works in here is the planning department can produce that map.
Yeah.
They can't necessarily like get the data, we need to get the data and send it to them. We are working with the police department now and waiting to hear back. And for context, what we're referring to about the data, and Corey is referring to the Pathway to End Gun Violence Advisory Council that actually occurred in like 2017, 2018, produced a report in which there was sort of a map that like sort of mapped out like, I think violence or gun violence in the city. And it was up to 2015. So we would just like to update that with the most recent 9 years. Yeah. So hopefully by the next time we meet, we'll have not only the data, but the map as well.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything they would like to, speak on, the mentorship program before we move on? Right, item number 3 is, the finalization of the mission statement. I'm gonna, pass around, copies that should have been emailed to you. I know I got one. I think they were, discussed, you can pass it down. Did you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, can we enter an exhibit? Can someone, make a motion to, enter this item as exhibit number 1, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
You made the second, was that you, Diane? Yes.
That's your copy.
Thank you.
So, we have one more copy of anyone from the public wants to. Yeah, we briefly touched on this at the last meeting. You guys want to just take a second to, read the different options and then we can kind of have a discussion. around, these examples and see if we want to pick one of them, or we want to tweak one of them, or we want to combine all three, et cetera. It'll take a minute or two.
I like, example 1 and 3.
Yeah, I like I wanna take from 1 to 3 and just add the address gun violence, like the public health crisis to 3.
Yeah, I think that,
I think that's really important.
Yeah,
would you want to take anything out of 3, 4, or just add the,
I'd say just add, everything else looks really good.
where should we add anything?
Right after the End Gun Violence Advisory Council is to address gun violence as a public health crisis and work collectively with city leaders, organizations, and residents. And maybe you could take out to end the devastating impact of gun violence, right? Because it's kind of saying that twice.
Yes.
But I just think it's, to be clear, addressing it as a public health crisis is, you know, the kind of the opposite of punitive punishment, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, that's important.
We need to vote on that, whereas I guess, is there any other points, comments, discussions regarding that measure? Did you guys get it?
Yeah, I took notes, maybe at the end, for. Just connect with you one more time, so make sure I kind of heard everything. right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um,
There's no vote on it. All right.
In example 2. Yeah, somebody help me with this. I like this sentence. Our goal is to invest in opportunities for those affected by gun violence. So we could add that to 3. If anything that addresses that is not in 3, that makes relative, you know, close to that kind of statement.
I mean, I like that too. I
Yeah,
mean, you could
same.
probably just remove,
Provide resources. and
Yeah.
change it to the-
Yeah, pull it into 3. So
Yeah.
I like the way that's worded.
Promote
Yeah.
investments instead of providing resources.
and that's better than-
I had some questions for some listener.
I was joking and then it was clearly not, it clearly wasn't a joke.
I just wanted to, seek clarity on item number 3, the second prong where it says open discussion and approval.
Right.
Is that, were you intending on a vote? If so, then the agenda must be amended.
Yeah, I would say so. I guess like where my question is, at the top of the agenda, it says that all matters are scheduled for discussion and possible vote or
Okay.
other action.
Thank you.
So does that need to be like clarified in the actual agenda item as well, or?
You know what? I skipped that.
Okay.
I skipped that part. So all matters appearing on the agenda are scheduled for discussion and possible vote or other action. So number 3 is.
We should be okay to vote on it. Corey, I didn't update it. Did you, you have a
Yeah.
pretty good sense, you think, of, you want to
Yeah.
just read possibly?
Yeah,
You can kind of just take a mental note on it and vote on it right now. Well,
yeah, the mission of the Pathway to End Gun Violence Advisory Council is to address gun violence as a public health crisis and work collectively with city leaders, organizations, and residents. Yeah, and residents. By focusing on the implementation of community violence intervention strategies, the council seeks to invest in opportunities for those affected by violence that foster hope, employment, and mental health support for at-risk individuals. We are committed to building a city where violence is replaced with opportunity and where every community can thrive in safety and dignity. Any other amendments?
Do we want to specifically, I mean, hope is great. But do we want to specifically mention employment and mental health services?
yeah, that's
So we
what,
say mental health, so it says employment and mental health.
Like-
But we could replace hope with mentorship.
No, I mean, I was saying keep that fosters hope. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you need that if with the previous provide opportunities,
Right.
just because that's kind of all encompassing.
Mhm.
I'm also not a wordsmith. I'm also okay if we want to keep it the way it is.
I'm okay with whatever's gonna bring us together in a timely manner and moving on to more concrete. Does anyone else have any thoughts or questions, comments, concerns?
I mean, I guess my thing is like, I love that this scope is really broad. The only thing is. Like, if we're not able to do all of these things, but maybe this is like the next that we're working toward, and just like, that's maybe for myself, just having an understanding of trying to do all of this, but we might only like.
Do as most of it.
Practically some.
Yeah.
subset.
And I guess that's why I wouldn't necessarily focus in on those, have those two things in there. Because it feels like it's setting us,
Oh, you're saying.
it's
don't
setting us
have
up to
employment and mental
specifically
health?
address
Right.
employment and mental health.
Mhm.
And some of these opportunities might address all of it or none of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
We could
I'm leaning towards probably not being as specific.
yeah, because community violence intervention encompasses employment and mental health, yeah, and so. Yeah, I think we could, I'm okay with removing that.
You wanna
Yeah.
make it and then maybe read it again.
Yeah. Okay. The mission of the Pathway to End Gun Violence Advisory Council is to address gun violence as a public health crisis and to work collectively with city leaders, organizations, and residents. By focusing on the implementation of community violence intervention strategies, the council seeks to invest in opportunities for those affected by violence that foster hope for at-risk individuals. We are committed to building a city where violence is replaced with opportunity and where every community can thrive in safety and dignity.
I make a motion to accept.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? I just have it. We have a mission statement. Congratulations. See? Thanks for. All right. Move on to item number 4, discussion on future presentations. I mean, I think one that comes to mind right away for me is, or it's tied to the current mentorship infrastructure that is existent in the city already. To go back towards item number 2. That's something that comes to mind right away for me. Does anyone else have any nonprofits or agencies that they would like to bring in the near future.
Maybe like our rec center. Because I like
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the rec center. Talk about their own work with the youth and how that fits in.
Diana, are you interested in?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely put Diana out there.
Maybe, maybe inviting a couple of the, like Rhode Island Foundation or the United Way when
Yeah.
certain grant cycles are coming up, so they could come in and kind of make us aware of what's available.
RI Foundation for sure.
Definitely,
then the we can-
United Way,
Yeah,
they are in collaboration with my organization.
yeah.
Providence Foundation, do they also have something?
That could be, yeah.
Yeah, these
Torpedo?
grants are just gonna be more and more critical and competitive as we move forward, not only on like the current financial challenges the city is facing, but we also are aware of a change at the federal level.
Mhm.
Where some of these state or federally funded grants probably are not gonna be as accessible. in 4 years. Have you guys heard back from the grant that?
Yeah, we didn't get the three states were Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, New York, and Washington DC were awarded it. We scored high, but
What was the feedback, I guess?
one was that that the state doesn't have a current strategy. And so a little bit of, I think, putting the, I don't know.
Horse before the carriage. Or
Something like
carriage
that.
before the horse.
Yeah, but they said they encouraged us to reapply. Who knows what that's gonna look like? I honestly don't think they're gonna issue that grant again for another 4 years.
Yeah.
That was Department of Justice.
Yeah, community violence intervention grant.
So is that kind of your role, PJ, at the AG's office, to try to develop like a
Yes.
strategy?
Yep, exactly the role. It's coming along. Actually, do you want me to?
Yeah, you can speak on it.
So we're gonna be putting out 2 surveys, one to state agencies. And one to communities all over Rhode Island, community-based organizations. And then a resident survey. Because part of this work it's important, it's community-centered and community-based, so any strategy that's formed should be informed by that. So so we're gonna be putting those out. We're in the stage of creating them right now, actually. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have something together and approved to go out. We're gonna solicit it, and then there'll be, the goal is to have community conversations around the state. Obviously, with the urban core being a lot of the focus, Providence is obviously number one. So so more to come on scheduling of that, and obviously this committee would be really helpful in helping get the word out, especially in Providence. And then we put pen to paper and create a strategy. And then we shake some trees and find some funding. So.
Plant some trees.
Yeah.
In terms of is it like in person, like info sessions you guys are looking to do and probably?
Yeah, there'll probably be a combination, but in person, I feel like is always better. But we want to make sure we're accessible, so there'll be a combination.
Awesome.
Probably not as many virtual opportunities, but definitely in person.
Posted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my quick comments on that is I see the mayor's office has done a couple like info sessions at PCTA like Saturday mornings. It seems like a pretty good
Yep.
central pretty accessible and pretty big location. And recommendation.
We have another event on December 14th. And you. It'll come, but definitely can think about that integrating more seniors into college.
Does anyone have any other thoughts,
I know-
possible?
I know DLT, even though we're, short on funds, and it'd be good to have them here and see the work you're doing. I know that they volunteer to.
You said ELT?
Well, yeah, but specifically Jess from Real Jobs will be a good person to present about the work that Real Jobs does.
So Real Jobs is, a program at the Department of Labor and Training.
Yeah, so at the Governor's Workforce Board, which is a division of the Department of Labor and Training, has Real Jobs, which is our premier workforce job readiness program. Last year, I think it was like 36 to 46 million is what we spent. 80% of that was federal dollars, so now we're working with like, I think 7 to like 15 million. And so, yeah, there's, been some hard decisions that have been made, but, I've definitely been getting leadership steer about investing in CBI, and they are committed to invest in CBI, but, yeah, there's also the issues of the current budget cuts and tough conversations that everybody's having, so no one likes the idea of talking about a new program right now when they're talking to providers all day, telling them they don't have money, right? And I also think commerce could be good too. I'm not sure if they have programs that particularly would work with the work we're doing. But I think to have them present and then to kind of prepare some asks, and just some hard questions like, do you think businesses can survive in communities where there's high violence? Right? Obviously the answer is no, right? So how can we work together to support, the business community that might intersect in the areas that our target populations are in, right?
Yeah, and in terms of efficiency, I think it's important that we, maybe like either like the co-chairs and like staff, like me, maybe like first with some of these, folks, just to get like a better, awareness and see if it's something that could actually,
Work out.
be of any, what's the word I'm looking for, just being productive.
Yeah.
I don't wanna spring a bunch of state agencies, like, if they can't like help us, like.
No offense taken.
No offense, state folks.
They all can though. That's the thing, is that it's just finding
We
a
gotta-
finding a champion within there is the trick, right? Because, I can tell you, I see people who have an extraordinary amount of influence and, where they're passionate about, the money ends up going towards, right? So, yeah, and I know like, there's like, we change internal rules out all the time, right? So at one point, we're taking these type of entities, at one point, we're not, right? And so, really like finding the pots of money that have that discretion and then trying to find a champion. But everybody's sitting on money and, the work we're doing can align with a lot of different pots of money. But yeah, I don't think it hurts for us to have a conversation with them first.
I apologize. I wanted to also suggest we invite someone from moms.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Um,
They have money too, right?
Yes.
Moms got money.
Yeah.
I was gonna gotta invite
Shake down
them,
the
they,
moms.
we could just invite them to the table.
Right.
You guys are,
Not to talk to me yet.
you guys are loyal, tender. We're
The- I will-
almost there now.
I will say that the survey we're planning on putting out is designed to specifically get to what Corey was just saying, figure out if the agency even is engaging in the work in any way,
Yes.
and then who is that contact?
Right.
So that's-
Oh, yeah, so you're doing that specific with state agencies,
Yeah.
huh?
yeah,
On that.
What do you think the timeline for that will be?
hopefully in the next week or so, we'll have a draft that we'll present internally and then and get it out.
How long do you think before results will be ready?
All depends on how fast state agencies respond.
So months.
But I think connections within the agencies will help drive it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so my suggestion is maybe we start with nonprofits And, you know,
Well, so there's three of them that are going out. There's a resident, there's a community-based one, and then there's a state. So they're pretty much gonna go out at
everyone.
roughly the same time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we'll start getting stuff. Hopefully, I would hope it's out and going by the 1st of December.
Yeah.
Maybe mid-December, and then after the new year, we'll start to compile stuff.
Sounds good.
So maybe, when's our next meeting technically?
Where we want it to be.
What kind of money does law enforcement agencies have? In local
question.
towns and cities,
Yeah,
they get tons of money,
yeah.
tons of it.
I think some of their money,
Why aren't they investing in CBI?
I think some of their
Investing
money in training,
Weapons,
yeah. I think some of their money in training might be applicable to CBI, but don't quote me.
Yeah, I mean, they receive grants as well, and I know that type of funding is a little more flexible. For different programs, cause yeah, I mean, the money they get from the city,
All personnel.
most of it is like contractual through like the collective bargaining agreements, and, the rest is, around equipment and, supplies. But yeah, I think, having, someone from the city's finance team kind of explain
Yeah,
exactly, their, line items and have a open, honest discussion, I think would be. I think we should, on that topic, probably invite the chief as well. I think he hasn't, been at these meetings. So seeing if, obviously he has representation. That's not here at the moment, but, yeah. we need to.
Our division.
Why are you saying sorry?
They cut you off,
Oh.
but our division of human services also is like public health division, they, are likely, they work with people in a lot of ways and already be doing some, sort of work to address community violence in youth, but they're also really good at grant funding. They may know grants as well.
great idea. Yeah, maybe we can start with like some of these city leaders and the nonprofits that we know are doing this work as we kind of wait for those results from PJ. And then that can guide our decisions on, state agencies to come and present.
Anything else, on future, conversations? Question. So, if there's no more on that item, we will move on to, next steps and action items. I guess the first question is, what is the next date? You guys probably wanna.
Take a holiday break.
December off and
Yeah,
back in January.
yeah,
Pick a date now, to give folks, ample time to make their schedule work. I would say, so there's actually 5 Wednesdays in, January, so I would recommend either the 22nd or the 29th. I don't know if folks have any. Would those work for the clerk's office?
Whichever day works for you, we will make it work.
Here's a best.
So you're looking at the 22nd or 29th.
Both of those work, except, I have a meeting at 2 on Wednesdays that I have to be at, so it can't be a 1 o'clock meeting unless
Unless you do
you're,
the 15th.
unless you're okay with me leaving at 1:30.
You, every Wednesday, you say you have a meeting at 2? Cool.
I mean, if you come in to start.
But
as long as
obviously
they're-
today's an exception.
I mean, as long as you have a quorum and he has to leave, you're good.
Does the 1 o'clock time work for folks or would 12:30? I'm like pretty flexible and is
1 o'clock would be.
1 o'clock.
yeah, I'm flexible.
By the way.
Yeah, same.
If we do the 29th.
I mean, we can do any,
You wanna do 20? Yeah, it's. The name of the people, whatever the people want.
Can I make this quick suggestion too? For those that whose phone numbers we don't have, is there any way you guys can leave a phone number? So that we can make sure that we do in fact have a quorum before each meeting, because it's hard. Because we're sending emails out and some don't respond, like I had to call you and say, we may or may not have a quorum. Because like now we didn't have some that didn't show, and then we're actually sitting here waiting to see who is gonna show. At least this way, if you're not responding to an email, we can call and say, hey, are you coming or you're not? Because it's kind of hard for us, and then we're sitting and waiting, or we're wondering, do we have a quorum, do we not have a quorum? And if we don't have a quorum, then it's last minute, and then we have to cancel the
Right.
meeting. So at least if we have numbers for everyone, we can email and we can call to say, hey, are you showing or you're not showing? And it makes it easier for us to.
Yeah, no, so everyone touch base with the clerk's office once this meeting's over, make sure they have your most up-to-date contact information.
Thank you.
So 129.
So 129.25.
Yeah. We'll do 1 o'clock, PJ, and then she
Fine.
can go ahead out
Yeah.
early
I
and
mean, I'll have to.
then kind of go from there, see if once we have more folks, maybe we find a different time or something.
And I'm not saying it's not canceled. Sometimes
What'd you say?
it's sometimes canceled,
Yeah.
like today,
Yeah.
but it is a standing 2 o'clock.
Right.
Fortunately.
Yeah, I'll connect probably with the co-chairs, in the next week or so to, unless folks have opinions on it now, what should be the topic of conversation that first meeting in January.
I think those mentorship organizations. Yeah. Yeah.
And CBI work at the AG's.
Yeah.
So
I'll give you an
you'll
update.
have an update. for
Yeah, I can
sure on-
definitely give you an update of where we are, for sure. It'd be great to, I mean, I know it's probably still early with them compiling things, but even if we had a rough data thing from the police, just to see where the
Yeah.
end, where the year you ended, and the year.
Yeah,
ended.
that would be really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
I get tongue twisted when I'm on camera, you know?
Yeah, words are hard, man. It's like.
It's so hard.
Language that supposed to speak on. Does anyone else have any comments, committee members, before we open it up to the public? Do any of our friends from the public want to share a few words?
Of course.
Go ahead, Val.
I want to thank all of you for your leadership. I'm so, so proud of all of you. As a Providence woman, to see that this city is stepping forward in the CBI area makes me very, very proud. I realize that our community is at risk because we have a lot of poverty here. And we are going to be vulnerable to gun violence in our community. But to see this response sustained over many months with people from various groups coming together like this, continuing to address the issue, is extremely heartening for me. And I am glad today to be in possession of the mission statement so that I can articulate to the groups that are out there further away from Providence that are in church groups, church affiliated, and that are in gun violence intervention groups, that gun violence prevention groups that I interact with across the state who are in suburban areas, so I can articulate that we are beginning CBI because the other communities in our states, maybe they don't need it as acutely as we do, but they are not doing it. They are not defining it. They are not intervening with it. They are not organizing like we are all organizing. I'm so, so proud of you. And I'm grateful for the mission statement because when I have to articulate what CBI is, people that are not familiar, that can be a little bit of the lift. So as you have this initial statement, it will probably morph, and I'm aware of that. It may not stay in its current form as you do your work. And it will be more articulated to me as you do implement programs that I can explain to other people. So you're asking about how we can support you. And I'm thinking that as the legislative session begins in January, and our group, we lobby every week for laws to prevent gun violence. We do that once a week for the entire legislative session to show up, okay? But we don't have any information about your group. We don't have a flyer. We don't have the mission statement in a printed form. We don't have a way to share with key legislators, the state senators and reps from Providence, who you are, what you're trying to implement, how you need to coordinate, and how you need funding. Okay, and so anything that we could do maybe to have a handout as we go lobby weekly, I think that might help.
Yeah.
So if you guys can think about that and think about, maybe we can help with that financially, I don't know. We have to go back and ask leadership. But that's something we all might think about so that you guys can be supported as you do this awesome work. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you brought up a great point about faith-based organizations. I don't think that's something that's been discussed within this community that we should definitely get on our radar at some point.
Yeah, all the CBI programs work with faith-based leaders.
Anyone else from the public have any words they want to share?
I was just looking at some, data was passed on to me. Of course, National Moms Group studies what goes on in all the states. And I wondered, probably some of here, you know that in the past year, Rhode Island had the 4th lowest rate of gun violence in the US per capita, which is remarkable, and it is in part due to efforts of people representing organizations and agencies here. You're responsible. It takes effort to be the 4th lowest rate of gun violence. And something I was just looking at, in the United States, Rhode Island has the 5th lowest societal cost of gun violence at $710 per resident, which is not something we talk about because it sounds so crass. But there is something to think about the cost of gun violence to our society and how that turns out to individuals, into business, into the state, to the city. But that 4th lowest rate of gun violence in the US, that's quite impressive. I mean, kudos to everybody here.
And yet we still lost people this year. And so we can't stop.
Yes, no resting.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
you.
Yeah,
Everybody, just want to say hello, young. I'd also like to introduce Doug McCormick, who is, you all received an email from yesterday. He's interning with the council policy staff, and he's gonna be sort of like sitting out a lot of emails, resources, things like that. So if you see like Doug McCormick in your inbox, it's gonna be has to do with this advisory council. And then again, I just always want to extend the offer that any research or information that we can provide in the meantime, especially through the city, please reach out to our office. We're here every day. So, cool.
Here we go.
welcome aboard, Doug.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else, to say. Does anyone else have anything? We're gonna get out of here though.
I just want to say I'm ecstatic by how productive so quickly these meetings have become. And it's really because everybody is already doing the work and we just put together a group of people who are doing the work and, you know, so we can work together, right? So kudos to y'all.
You know? With that being said, hopefully I hear and see you guys before the next meeting. But if not, I hope you all have, a blessed and peaceful, holiday celebration, if that's something you participate in. And yeah, I'll, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.